Hey everybody, Dan Sparrow, www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. This is where we discuss clinical trials in plain English. Our primary audience is intended to be study participants, but what we've noticed is that research clinics have been paying attention to our blog posts, so every now and then we do a post for them. And this one's more for the research clinics, although the study participants may find it interesting, at least I hope so. But it was kind of inspired by an article I read in Center Watch, and I keep bringing Center Watch up. Um, this article was about the business behind clinical trials for the research clinics and the research site levels. Um, a lot of doctors back in 2004, 2005 started opening their own research practices, and then as the drug companies kind of halted some of their studies or delayed some of their studies during this past recession, I think starting back from late '08 through the entire year of 2009, and only now are we noticing a real pickup in study activities again. So a lot of research clinics went out of business, and Center Watch basically attributed that to the fact that research clinics don't really have anyone who's in charge of handling the business. They usually have the doctor do the trials, and he's expected to also run the business behind the research company. And that, we think, at least myself and Don, we think that's inefficient. First of all, nothing against doctors. My dad's a doctor. But we don't think doctors necessarily make the best business people. And the way we have it set up at South Coast Clinical Trials, we have several doctors who run studies, and we have other clinical type people who do nothing but clinical things. And then you have Don and I, who do pretty much everything else. We do the business. We don't really get involved in any clinical operations at all. We may get involved in recruiting study participants, but as far as actually being hands-on involved in the clinical studies, we do not do that. We do the business development where we get new studies. Our job is to get new studies and also fill up those studies with study participants and make sure that our employees are constantly being trained in good clinical practice, which we have several vendors that provides that training. So as you can see, the way we have it set up is a little more sophisticated, and that's kind of where the Center Watch article was going. They were saying that research clinics need to either have their study staff trained in some business type of curriculum where they can learn how to run a company better, run a site better, or they just need to delegate those responsibilities to business type people, And so once again, that's what Don and I do. Our titles are Director of Business Development, and we do nothing else but all the behind the scenes stuff that keeps a research clinic going. So we even get into the accounting, and we do some numbers crunching. Of course, we outsource a lot of that to vendors who help us with the bookkeeping and things like that. But as far as running the business, that's what we do. And that's what our jobs are, and we don't get involved in clinical stuff, but we do get involved in recruiting for studies. We get involved in obtaining new studies. We get involved in negotiating contracts and budgets, and we make sure that our staff are always on top of their training. So that's what we do, and we think it's effective that way. And if you're a study doctor or a study coordinator out there, you guys really need to consider maybe getting someone to do nothing but business development. And I know you may not have the budget for that, but in that case, then you may need to put one of the study coordinators who's more inclined to being business minded into the role of doing nothing else but business development, because trust me, it's a lot of stuff to do behind the scenes. There's, like I said, budget negotiations, bookkeeping, making sure that you're profitable so you can continue operating the next month and the month after that. And at the end of the day, you really have to have a healthy business. Not just for yourselves, obviously, to keep you guys employed and to keep a paycheck coming for you, but also for your study participants. You don't want to go out of business and have 40 or 50 study participants um, being withdrawn early from a study just because you guys can't run a business the right way. So I know it's been tough these last couple of years for the research clinics out there, but the studies are starting to pick up. They're gradually, the sponsors and CROs are gradually starting to continue to conduct the studies again at a pace we've seen back in maybe late '07. So the pace is definitely picking up. Um, like I said, 2009 was dead. There was no studies almost. Studies were being delayed. Everyone was kind of waiting around to see what's going to happen. And it looks like we've kind of reached that light at the end of the tunnel where the research clinics that have survived are starting to get a lot of work now. And my company in particular, South Coast Clinical Trials, we're experiencing that too. So if you're a research clinic out there, let me know what you think. Do you have business development people on your staff, or do you have the doctors also run the business? And maybe you've been successful that way. I don't know. There are some doctors out there who have excellent business savvy, but for the most part, I think physicians are trained to think one way, and then business people are trained to think another way. And I think you need to have both those type of individuals at your company if you want to succeed and if you want to keep your employees happy, drug companies happy, and study participants happy. You need to have a healthy business, and a healthy business is a profitable business. So at the end of the day, this is a business, and it should be run like one. So let me know what you guys think. www.theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thank you very much.